And we're back. Our first guests are Cornell Cross with OCAST and Dave Rowland with OMA. Gentlemen, good to have you both here.
Thank you, sir.
Why don't we start with you, because you've been victimized before here. What is, again, if you don't mind going through this again, what is OCAST?
It's the Oklahoma Center for the Advancement of Science and Technology. We are the state's only technology-based economic development agency. We focused on what we call STEM businesses: science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing. We provide support services to those businesses with research and development needs, internship opportunities, and collaborative experiences.
We're going to be talking with three folk who have who are here representing other agencies that really are part of the group under the umbrella. As I understand it now, you have what, about $60 million out there?
I wish. That would be wonderful. Currently, right now, OCAST budget's around $13 million.
I don't know where I got the figure 60. Oh, well, I was lucky to find my way home yesterday.
I could tell you we could do a lot with $60 million, though.
Boy, couldn't you? When I first saw that you were with OMA, and I mentioned to you before we started, I thought, Oklahoma Military Academy? No, that's not what it is. Explain if you would.
No, it's the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance. We're a nonprofit and part of the Oklahoma Innovation Model. And our sole focus is how to improve the productivity of manufacturers in Oklahoma.
I see. So that's a mouthful, but there's a lot more that goes into that, isn't there?
Well, there is. We have a field staff of 19 people located throughout the state who are trained and have spent their careers in manufacturing, helping manufacturers in all 77 counties to improve their business and to address some of the crucial problems that manufacturing is facing. Right now, there's a critical shortage of workers and skills that are needed for the future technologies that are now coming into manufacturing. The pace of technology change is faster than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. Manufacturers are using 3D manufacturing, they're using the Internet of Things, they're using artificial intelligence with the robots. So there's a lot for them to be able, there's a lot of things out there for them to have to learn and to work into their business models. And we provide that one-on-one service to help them do those types of things.
I have heard, and you know, I can't substantiate this or prove it, but I have heard that we're short of people who know simply how to frame a home.
That's absolutely true. I think you go anywhere in Oklahoma and you're going to see that people are talking about their shortage of skilled workers. Manufacturing, just in the United States alone by 2020, is going to be short a minimum of 2 million skilled workers. And here in Oklahoma, we estimate that to translate to about 30 to 35,000 jobs that are going to go unfilled because of a lack of skilled workers. So that's one reason these new technologies and stuff that we're talking about are so important. They're going to help supplement that lack of skilled workers. So we're going to have to learn how to marriage these new technologies and get some skills to basically provide that support for automation, et cetera.
You know, it's a bit of a conundrum if you stand back and look at the big picture, because on the one hand, we have gained traction and we're racing headlong into the future with nanotechnology, with all things new, bright and brilliant computers are getting faster all the time. You have surgery done by robots. Mm-hmm. You have equipment that just boggles the mind that no one would have thought of even 5 years ago.
You know, and on that point too, and I just jumped in real fast, there are 2 companies just in this area of northeastern Oklahoma that supply parts to the Da Vinci surgical device that you were just mentioning. Mm-hmm. About people doing surgery with robots. 2 companies right here in just northeastern Oklahoma that provide parts to that device. So it's being done here.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Is the focus then on new enterprises or new entrepreneurs, or what is the focus at this point?
Well, there's several ways to look at this.
Pardon me, but you can't look to the new ones without remembering the old ones.
No, let me give you a little bit of background. There's approximately 4,000 manufacturers in Oklahoma, and about 97% of those have less than 150 employees. And every year, There's a multitude of startups with the incubator systems that we have here, the innovation hubs that we're starting and so forth. But by definition, a large number of those fail to be able to get to commercialization and be able to be scaled into long-term commercial viable businesses. Our main focus is to work with those existing 4,000 manufacturers in each of the counties, but on any new startups and so forth, and this is where the model really comes into play, is the research part is handled by OCAST as starting the cycle. And then once a business becomes to the point where they start thinking about how are they going to make this their livelihood or whatever, I2E, who you'll talk to in a little bit, they're going to help basically put that business plan together, get it ready for commercialization, and provide growth capital. And if it's a manufacturer, then that's when we get called in. And we'll help them design their business, figure out what technology they're going to need, help them figure out if they need to export, et cetera, et cetera. And if they need specific design engineering services, then that's where the New Product Development Center of OSU comes in. That's part of our model. So on startup businesses, entrepreneurs, those types of things, we have a very leveraged approach on how we can make innovation and businesses very successful under the innovation model.
It seems like the only businesses, new ones, that are getting attention, media attention in this part of the state anyway, are the new breweries. And I know there's more.
A lot of science there, though.
Pardon me?
There's a lot of science in
You
that,
bet
though.
there is, but it would seem that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, and we just don't know it.
I would agree with that.
Well, there is. The breweries are basically a manufacturer. We look at it, and it's very similar to food processing when you think about it. It's a flow process, and there are a lot of technology needs with sensors, measurements, control, et cetera, that have to go into the actual operation. But our job doesn't just concentrate on what happens on the floor and how you assemble or put together a product. We're also working with the CEOs, the back office and so forth to make sure that their business plans are sound. They understand what technology may or may not be available to help them, how to improve their back office pieces. So we don't just necessarily focus on what happens on the shop floor. We try to make the business completely robust so they can compete not only locally, but on a global basis.
Let me jump states for just a moment, because I just read early this morning, Las Vegas, of all places, a fellow out there saw a need and went to the state and said, look, I can take care of this need. I need your support. And here was the problem. Las Vegas feeds more people per capita on the Strip than any other city of its size. At the end of the day, there's a great deal of food left over. And somebody said, what, we can't just stick it in the cabinet. This is set out buffet style. What do we do? Along comes a guy, not even associated with the casinos, and said, I can solve that. I know how to solve it. And he put a pencil to it and came up with a unit, a flash drive unit that you could move in. You lease them from him. You move these flash drive units or flash freeze units into your place of business. What's left over at the end of the day, you freeze it, a quick freeze operation. And then, this is what's really nice about that. There are several groups out there, nonprofits, that try to feed the homeless and the hungry.
Absolutely.
And they get it. Their agencies are the benefactors. But it was the one guy that came up with the freezing idea and said, this will work, and it did.
Absolutely. We have examples of that constantly here in Oklahoma. I just had a call last week from someone out just in the Yukon area that has basically redesigned and improved just standard crutches that have been around for 500 years, basically, whether they're sticks or not. But it's very innovative, and they're looking at how we can help them manufacture those crutches here in Oklahoma. We're also looking at, obviously, new technology things with virtual reality, Right here in Claremore, you've got an innovation hub, et cetera, here that is housing several new inventors that are trying to get their ideas scalable and up into commercial applications so they can be their own manufacturers and their own business people.
God, that's sweet. That's sweet. I've got about 1 minute. Cornell,
Yes.
is the future, I don't know quite how to phrase that. I don't want to draw you all into a political thing, but given the mood of the hole in our budget,
Yeah.
is the mood of the state still positive toward new and innovative businesses?
Absolutely, even more than ever before. And I'll tell you this, and when we talked about this last time, which was about 6 months ago, and I think if you go back and you see what I said and you look at today, it's even more than it was now, is that business is now feeling that it is in an environment where it can grow. And it is beginning to do so, and it is engaging, and it is now starting to use its capital for new buildings, new equipment, hiring people. At some point, and I do believe it's going to be sooner than later, the economy, which is the leading indicator, is going to overcome that lagging indicator of budget, and it's going to all slide in together. And I think we'll finally get past the Great Recession, as I guess it was called, and we will finally be out of this. How the legislature handles that, I'm a state employee, I don't know if I can.
Like I said, I'm not
yeah,
trying
I
to
don't know if
draw
I can
you
tell you how they're going to handle it, but at some point, the problem will solve itself. We hope that they'll make long-term changes so that the next time this comes up, we won't face it similarly.
I'm in your corner. I agree. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Good to see you. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
6 months?
Hey, sure.
Okay. Short break. We'll be back with more. Did I do okay?